Do not adjust. Do not click away. We will find you. We will
I'm not committing.
change your team name.
I'm not committing to that. I'm not committing to finding anybody.
We will add an asterisk at the end of your name.
I mean, what do we call the movie now? Do we call it the Thunderbolts, or do we call it,
I don't even know.
or do we call it the New Avengers?
I would call it the
I'm not sure, but
Thunderbolt
we're gonna
Congress.
talk about it.
Thunderbolt Congress. Yeah, that's what we call it.
Welcome to another edition of Geek Culture Congress. We are live on various social media platforms. Of course, the official live home of the Geek Culture Congress podcast, Speedy's Multiverse YouTube channel. Shouts out to everyone listening to the audio version of this later on the playback or on the Wild 94.1 YouTube channel. Welcome, everybody. Yeah. It's been a while. I know we took a little break, took a little hiatus, had some things going on, you know, the refocus here.
We had to take a lot of stuff
but
in.
We're back. Yeah, had to take some stuff in.
We had a mourning period.
Yeah, we did.
Let's just be honest with each other here. Me and Speedy old as hell. We had doctor's appointments. That's really what happened. Blood pressure was high.
Yeah. But we're here to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. What everyone is talking about. Marvelous save, some people say. Some people say it's just okay. But nobody really says it's bad. So I guess that's a good thing. That's a win, right? Thunderbolts with an asterisk at the end.
Yeah.
The New Avengers.
New Avengers. AKA the New Avengers. Which I guess they changed the title too.
Yeah, they're out here campaigning the new title.
Wow, that's crazy. I think that's funny.
Go ahead, Joey.
Joey, your first reaction, spoiler free, of course. And of course we'll get into a spoiler discussion about it as the show progresses.
Yeah. My take, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I was thoroughly impressed of how they executed this movie. It was a movie that I wasn't really too sure about when they made the announcement a few years ago. And wow, they really stuck the landing on this one and made it interesting enough for me to be like, oh, I could see these guys in another movie just like this, you know, continuing their stories. Where do I begin? I mean, you got all the, you know, callbacks from the original Avengers, only it's more of a, you know, the not so Avengers kind of gang, the more unexpected Avengers team that, you know, we got. But I thought that everybody played their role and they played it to perfection. I thought Yelena Belova, Florence Pugh did a phenomenal job. I thought Red Guardian as the comic relief he hit on most of the movie. Like he hit on most of his, like, you know, his comedic parts of the movie. I thought those were dope. It was a good, you know, like a good moment between the two. And there was a lot of really good things about this movie that were just deeper than Marvel stuff. I thought you know, a lot of people have called it, or I've seen online people call it like the mental health Avengers or something like, I forgot what it was, something like that. But but it was a good movie to really highlight, and it's on, you know, was it Mental Health Awareness Month?
Oh.
So, you know, it's interesting how they dropped the movie, and the movie is based on basically a lot of mental health stuff. I mean, you got the Sentry character who in the comics deals with a lot of those issues, and you see it a lot in the movie, and it's part of his superpower actually. So to see, I thought Jeff Pullman was really dope as Sentry. I didn't know what to expect out of that character because, you know, he was recasted. It was supposed to be the other guy from The Walking Dead. But he did a great job. I'm excited to see Sentry. I'm glad they didn't go full OP. You got a taste of what his powers can do. And they, you know, and they set that up later on in the movie where, you know, a post-credit scene where, you know, he's just kind of chilling. He's scared to use his power because of how everything transpired within the movie. I don't know if we're approaching spoiler territory, but real quick, you know, I just gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really solid. I loved all the characters. I thought they were all used correctly, and they made, you know, forgotten villains interesting enough to really make a nice MCU comeback film and really get everybody hyped up for what's to come with Fantastic Four, because you get that post-credit scene, and of course Avengers Doomsday. So solid job, Marvel, man.
We're spoiling stuff already, Joey.
I mean, it's
We're spoiling
everywhere,
stuff already.
bro. I mean, we didn't
It was on the
we
title.
didn't
It's
go
fine.
too crazy, but yeah, the new
It's on the title.
Avengers.
Tarek Lewis, your take of Thunderbolts, asterisk, aka the new Avengers. Yeah.
Did you say me?
Yep.
Man, I give it a 8.5.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
give it 8.5. Never a moment in the movie where I felt like this is going too slow, or this is unnecessary, or this is not entertaining. Right. I was entertained the whole time. I was worried about going to the bathroom because I didn't want to miss anything. It was funny. It wasn't corny or manufactured the way they all got together. It had its dark moments, of course, literally its dark moments, which everybody's seen in the trailer. Excuse me. But I thought that was kind of a misdirection that they were going to do what they did in the trailers. I thought, oh, this is going to be like a misdirection. But it ended up playing a part in the story very well. They intertwined that well. This easily could have been one of the films where you see everything in the trailer. It wasn't. U.S. agent and his interaction with Ghost and Yelena and everybody, and the way they put that team together, it worked. I don't have a thing where I said, "Oh, this didn't work." We'll go into the ending a little bit. I had some qualms about the ending, but yeah, 8.5, man. You know, if I watch it again, it might be a 9.
Yeah.
I just can't put it over.
Wow.
I walked out of there having like Winter Soldier vibes, like, oh, this is Winter Soldier with comedy in it. With some comedy in it. That's what I walked out there thinking. Which
Okay.
that's high standards. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Rich Ortiz, I know you got some feelings about this movie.
No, first off, I want to give it an 8 out of 10 if we're giving it on that scale like everybody else. And you know, I just want to first give a shout out to Olga Karolenko for being the real MVP. Going on a whole press run, acting as if Taskmaster was gonna be a part of this movie and an integral part.
Taskmaster got disrespected,
And
bro.
she had
The
about
whole character got disrespected.
3 minutes and 25 seconds of fight scene, and then you know, she was done. That's it. I get.
She cashed her check.
I
That's
guess
it.
they couldn't fit her into the budget. I don't know what it was, but I mean that was kind of crazy to me. Other than that, I thought David Harbour was hilarious. Um, Movie was really good. Not just him. Sebastian Stan had his parts in there too. Not just comedy wise, but action wise. It was cool to see him come back. And then you know, kind of have some fun with the arm and things that he could do with it, which was really good. Um, I'm gonna be honest though, I didn't like the ending of the movie only because I thought Valentina Allegra de Fontaine got out of there super easy. I'm not gonna say what happens, but also as Sentry, like I understand what they were trying to do, the whole mental health thing. Florence Pugh, amazing job. She had daddy issues in the movie. We'll touch on that a little bit later. But you know, it was a lot of things where a lot of people you see they had problems with, like, even though they were like superheroes and doing things, but they still had like real people problems and people could relate to them. And I feel like that's why this movie really resonated with a lot of people. Not just like, you know, trying to, a lot of people online saying trauma bonding and all this stuff. I mean, I think it's important to kind of put that in movies. But also they, you know, they really had fun with it. It was funny. Everybody, it was all worth it for the extra credit scenes. I mean, you know, everything at the end.
They were cool.
Yeah, I give it an 8.
they were cool.
I thought the ending was way too easy.
said,
I thought I wanted a little bit more, but you know what? I liked it all in all. 8 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it on my score a 7.5. I give it a 0.5 demerit for the ending, for the hugging out the hugging it out solution
Why
to
do
the
you hate
problem.
hugs?
But it's fine.
Yeah, you gotta we
Everybody
gotta talk
needs
about
hugs
your
once in
mental
a while.
health. Were
Yeah,
were
you
you
all right?
afraid of love? Are you afraid of being
Right?
loved by
I'm,
by people
I'm
just now?
just saying, dog. Like,
It was
how
cool,
you
right?
gonna have the most
It was
powerful
cool.
superhero and then you defeat it with a hug, with a group hug?
It's deeper than that, bro.
I get
Group
Look,
it.
hug, babe. Never doubt the
I
power of
get
the
it,
group hug,
but
okay?
not even just that. Yo, like Valentina got off way too easy, and then
bro,
came.
they
She
defeated
pulled the
Ronan.
Avengers. She pulled the Avengers card and got out of everything. Like,
They defeated Ronan the Accuser with a dance battle.
I didn't hear nobody complain about that.
And nobody say nothing.
I'm saying, dog.
Just wait till you see what James Gunn Superman is
Listen,
gonna
Oh
I
do.
think
man.
That's a different. That's a
we've
different
seen her in
conversation.
movies just in small capacities and how she could manipulate people. And in this movie, we really saw how she could and how evil she could be and how she manipulates and gets her way through everything. And then in the end, kind of just making out the Thunderbolts, New Avengers, whatever you wanted to call this movie. She's responsible for everything. Now she's taking credit for everything and she comes out as the good guy. Like, I'm not cool with that. What kind of message does
Well,
that send?
it's an
What
ongoing
kind of
plot.
message
There
does
you go.
that
That's a
send the
continue.
kids?
You
To
wanted her to
lie.
give her
That's
comeuppance.
Now you
a
gonna
plot
lie and just
continuation for you.
say Avengers and now you good?
Yo, you're saying that as if we're not watching Bucky, the Winter Soldier, who has killed hundreds of people, as one of
Right.
our heroes.
A
I mean,
congressman at that.
a
He's
He
a
was
congressman.
brainwashed.
congressman.
He was
I
brainwashed.
think I think it's very unique. This whole movie is very unique, which makes it I think why it resonates. I think it is not the traditional Marvel fare. I think the presentation of Sentry is very hard. If you read Sentry stories in the comic book, it's
Mm.
very complex, and the way they were able to translate that into live action and still keep the core the core conflict of the character intact and make it make sense to this movie was I think was that's what really made this movie. I think Taskmaster that got disrespected, but it's fine.
All right,
Whatever.
dude.
I guess somebody had to catch a bullet in the beginning of the movie.
I'm pin
He
that
pulled
thought
the
because I
short
definitely
straw or
want to talk
something.
about Taskmaster, bro. Go ahead, finish, Speedy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it also this movie very uniquely also ties a lot of plot points. We always talk about those plot holes and those loose plot things, things that happened in Hawkeye for Black Widow or the new Black Widow, things that happened in the previous Black Widow movie, things with a Red Guardian, feelings and loose plot journeys with these characters. With Winter Soldier, for example, definitely a loose plot journey for him that was tied
Yeah.
up. For John Walker from Falcon and Winter Soldier, he was like completely hated. You know what I mean. Even people disliked the show or didn't like the show very much, but they definitely disliked uh U.S. Agent.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They definitely just like the character, for being
I had
so
seen
mean and
something
evil.
that the original plan was to have John Walker be the main villain in this movie, which would have been an
Mm.
interesting story to see. But I liked what they
Oh,
did.
I
A redemption story,
yeah,
not even just for him, but for everybody. But they did Taskmaster
yeah, yeah.
dirty. I'm just gonna be real.
I think it also focuses on the Fontaine, also on her, a little bit of her motivations and things, pointing her out as a very unique villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and going through some plot beats with her, with trying to kill everybody and trying to cover up, and of course the okey doke at the end. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? She's a very slippery, sneaky, evil, maniacal character in her own way, and they even showed a little
That
backstory
was
on her
cool.
too, with a little flashback, with a little which is it's just the whole a lot of multiple could be complex plot journeys with all these characters, and they were able to really bring it all in, with a central plot, of course, and really send it home, man. That's why I think the movie's great. You know what I mean?
Great enough to get a
Um,
7.5.
yeah, yeah.
That's a suspicious.
Because then I think about things that I've given like an 8 and above, and and I don't know if it quite hits that, but it's definitely a
And
great movie.
so that's an
Definitely
issue
a
I
great
had. Like when I initially gave it an 8. Once Joey started talking, I was like, it really is 8.5 or close to a 9. Because, like I said, I had Winter Soldier vibes, and I think Winter Soldier is one of the top Marvel films and comic book films ever.
Yeah.
I just couldn't put it right there, so I have to take it down a notch, And there's rarely ever a 10.
Right.
So
Right. That's
yeah,
really
but
hard.
I
Yeah. I don't even think Endgame is a 10.
yeah, I enjoyed it immensely. But I don't think, and you guys have to correct me on this, Taskmaster was never called Taskmaster.
No.
No?
So we don't know if that's
Oh,
really.
yeah.
I mean, I know from the Black Widow movie that it has all the signs of Taskmaster, but I didn't like how they did Taskmaster. I was like, they did her dirty. But I'm hoping that it's not the Taskmaster and that we get Taskmaster again at some point.
I think
'Cause it's
that's
a
the
great
plan.
villain.
That's
Okay.
definitely the plan.
Quite
I think
possible.
that's a big reason why they kill their character off, just so they can actually do comic book accurate Taskmaster. Because a lot of people were not like true fans, and people that know Taskmaster from the comics were not happy about it being Draco's daughter, Dracov's daughter.
Yeah. I mean the movie's well done. Story by Eric Pearson and directed by Jake Schreier, and I don't think they're giving them their flowers enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I trust that guy to do another ensemble movie. I don't know if it's an Avengers movie in the future, but he'll definitely probably get an X-Men look.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I mean, we got to commend Florence Pugh just taking the lead on this one, also, and also like she kind of says it throughout the movie, like, "Hey, I want you to give me the lead, like, show my face." And you know what? She delivered, yo. I
Yeah.
gotta give her a
You know
props.
what?
Yeah.
I give Florence Pugh super props, just like Rich, because I think that she really took on the role of being the next Black Widow in Marvel movies to come
The White Widow.
a little bit better than how Anthony Mackie took the mantle to be Captain America.
Yeah, and
I think she commanded the role better.
I think the
Why
hiccups
Anthony
of
Mackie catching strays, man? Wait a minute.
No,
I think the
I like
hiccups-
Anthony Mackie.
I-
There's no slander at all. I think Anthony Mackie's awesome as Captain America. I mean, he's always gonna be like, it's not gonna be like Chris. It's not gonna feel like Chris Evans. And I feel like we spend too much of these movies of him like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to be Captain America. I don't know if I'm worthy of the shield. I don't know if I want to build a team. Like, it's a bunch of I don't knows where it's like Yelena Belova is just like, yo, I'm here.
I think there was a bunch of due to the maybe because it was filmed, I guess, or during the pandemic, I guess. But the mishap of Falcon and Winter Soldier, when even though it had some good things, it wasn't perfect at all of a show. I think that show diminished the shine that could have been, this Captain America. You know
Quite
what I mean?
possible. Yeah, it's not Anthony Mackie's fault. I just think it's the
not his
writing.
fault. I just think the writing was bad. The whole presentation of the character's bad, and that's what the result was. I mean, his movie did okay. So
Yeah,
Yo,
I like it.
I don't care what y'all say. He beat a Hulk, yo. Relax. He's good.
He did.
It wasn't. I don't think.
He didn't really beat him. He just said sun's getting real low.
Yeah, he talked him down too. He had a therapy session.
Sil, what's up, Sil? Sil says, I have not seen Hawkeye, Black Widow, or Captain America Winter Soldier, the series. So I'm kind of lost in all this. Unfortunately, I don't have any interest in any of these big characters. I'm glad Marvel made a decent movie since Endgame, but I'm completely opting out of this. But see, I think
and there's a lot of people that feel that way.
Respect you opting out of it.
There's a lot of people that feel that way.
But and I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel that way. But if you're gonna get into what's coming, I think Marvel just opted in.
Yes.
These
Listen,
I think it's a reason to go back.
You're gonna miss out on these plot.
I think this.
Yeah, you're gonna miss out on these plot.
I think this is a perfect way for them to end Phase 5, go into Phase 6. Can we get into the spoiler of the credit scene now?
Let's go.
Oh yeah,
All right,
sure.
so I mean, it was already spoiled beforehand. Honestly, I read it like Joey was like, "Yo, did you see it?" And I was like, "I have to see it now." So but listen, the end scene, you see they make a little funny joke about the Avengers, like Avengers with a Z. Of course, David Harbour's doing this thing with the comedy. But it's good to see a real Bucky Barnes, like comic book equivalent to as far as the outfit goes. But it was funny also to see that Lewis Pullman as Sentry kind of couldn't get it up anymore as the strongest superhero in the world.
Couldn't get it up is hilarious.
And because that's what, of course, strongest superhero in the world. Now he doesn't know how to use his powers all of a sudden because
He's scared to use his
got a
powers.
group
There's a
hug.
difference. He doesn't want to use his powers because he's scared to use his powers.
But he's controlling it. All right, if he's controlling it, I see it. But you know what? He couldn't get it up anymore. And in the end, we see
we've all been there. That's why me and Steve weren't on the show the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
The fantastic. We see the Fantastic Four ship come in, and it's a perfect way to go into Phase 6.
I thought the ending was good for the post credits. I did not like. I was okay with the talk down. I thought it was dope that they went through like each floor of the house or whatever they were doing. That part was cool.
Yeah.
But I actually am with you, Rich, on Yelena getting off too easy. I'm not Yelena. I'm sorry.
Valentina
getting off too easy. I'm actually with you on that. Yeah, the ending was the only thing that threw me off a little bit. But I think they saved it with the post credit scene and the humor is important in this film because it takes you it lets you just say, okay, this is ridiculous, like what we're dealing with anyway. And it's even in the beginning when they're like stuck in like the building and she kind of says like all we are is just punch and kick people, like nobody can fly, nobody can do anything, so that would be the one knock I would say is how it ended. But I think Marvel is good, man. Like these post credits sometimes save the film. This didn't need saving, but it definitely kicked it up a notch a little bit. And I would say I know we're spoiling a lot, but I have a homeboy who doesn't watch every Marvel film. He kind of picks and chooses and just like, yo, just to give me the updates. I think the only one you have to really watch is Black Widow.
Yeah. I mean,
I think you have to watch Black Widow.
So.
And you could just probably look up who U.S. agent is.
Honestly, if you probably caught Hawkeye, and the exchange between Hawkeye and Black Widow and that, you kind of get, where she's at.
Yeah.
And I get what Sid is saying. Like we're not crapping on the movie at all. We all gave it 7.5s and above. We said the movie was good. But you know what? If we could just change in a perfect world, in our world, where we want to change stuff and because we're spoiled, I mean, I feel you. I feel like the ending was a little too easy and they could have went a little bit more into Sentry. I loved how they went into his character and his history, but I feel like it was a little too easy to just. My man was just murking all of New York, and then all of a sudden got a group hug, and he was good.
Well, he didn't murk New York. The New York was just pulled into the void.
He put him in the shadow realm.
It's
in the void.
It's a little. It's another dimension inside of Sentry, right? I mean, technically, the void is.
Yeah, and I think that might play a part. Well, we'll see. That might play a part in Secret Wars or something else coming. Like, where is Secret Wars going to take place? It takes place on a different planet. I think in the comic books. And, it'll take place in the void. I think Sentry's a tough character to do anyway, because who are his comparables? He's fighting Thor, Hulk, top Iron Man. You know what I mean? And those people aren't really around anymore. So I thought they did a reasonable job with that. So
I mean,
I didn't like how he all of a sudden came out blonde and I didn't like how they did his powers where they were like, he has the power of like 8 suns, but all of a sudden he's like telekinetic I'm like, no,
Yeah.
just make him strong. Like,
He
why did
didn't
they
know
do
how to
that?
do anything, and then in a day, he all of a sudden became a professional with his powers. Like it was
Yeah,
I felt
yeah,
like that was a little quick.
yeah, he mastered a little fast, and he just reminded me of Vision. To be honest, he his powers and how he took on people. It just reminded me of Vision. I didn't get the feeling that Vision couldn't beat him based off
Now,
of the way they showed
if
that.
if what
Oh,
they're doing is
really?
saying like, all right, that's what he could learn within a day, and he could get way stronger. Like I could kind of see that, but he did whoop 5 people's ass, and 2 of them were like had super strength serum power. So
Mm,
I mean, if you're gonna say like, hey, he's strong, like he beat 5 of their asses, so
yeah.
he is
That and,
strong.
and
Man, people
definitely.
been taking Bucky's arm off like people take hats off at the club when you have a dress code. They be
He
taking
was an
that arm
upgrade,
off
bro.
all the time,
He
dog.
was an
So
upgrade. Something.
we got to scale him down a little bit.
Yeah. So says Adam Warlock powers were booty juice too.
Yeah,
I think, but his presentation was on somebody learning his powers. He
you
was
mean
like
to tell me?
freshly born.
You mean to tell me Sentry got a kill switch, and that he's that easy to take out,
Mm.
but Valentina Allegra Defontaine is out here just running and being a menace out in the world? Like, come on, who's the more powerful one now?
Mm.
Yeah, well, yeah, bringing up Adam Warlock, it goes to your point, Rich. Like Adam Warlock got hatched early or whatever,
Yeah.
but he was supposed to be, such a badass,
Right.
but he had all this time to train still, and Sentry had what 7 hours? Yeah, it wasn't days. You know what I mean? It was like,
I mean, I think he always knew his powers and what he was capable. He was just afraid of what could come, from using those powers. So I think his whole thing was just being hesitant as to knowing what. Because even during the movie, he started acting like he was saying how I don't know how I got here. I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, and he does do black out, but then he started kind of. Oh, I was in a lab, and no, they asked me to do that. Like he started remembering these little things. So it's like he's aware of these things. He's just afraid, he's just unsure of like, what's going to happen. Okay. If I give too much information or, what's going to happen to me. I mean, this is kind of a weird situation I'm in. I just
yeah,
woke up and you know what I mean? So he's just very, and his character's like that the entire time is just super hesitant of like his next move or, if he's like kind of worthy to be around certain people and kind of share stuff and be vulnerable. And that's kind of what their dynamic between him and Yelena Belova is throughout the entire film is he felt vulnerable next to her and felt okay to like speak up and say what's on his mind and, not afraid to feel. And you saw that from the very beginning when we get introduced to him all the way to when she talks him down in the void. And, and they kind of, defeat the character. He builds up the courage to defeat the demon inside of him.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think I'm cool with that part. Yeah, I am. I'm cool. I actually agree. I like that. I like that aspect. And it's just like how does hair get back dark? Like I'm nitpicking now. You know what I mean? I'm
Well, he
nitpicking.
dyed his hair. He admitted,
Yeah, but it's
dyed his hair.
back dark at the end.
Oh yeah.
Like after they defeat the void, his hair's back dark. And I'm like, well, why did that happen? That he's back in his regular clothes. But what I did like is that they tied it all back in. Well, you make a good point, Joey, that like he may know how to use his powers, he just doesn't, or or they've locked him away because at the end, like you said, he didn't remember. He was like, what happened? What so if that constantly happens every time he uses his powers and he gets subdued, then it makes sense that he doesn't know how to use it as Bob. He only knows how to use it when he's tapping into the void.
But like what
like
makes him pass out? Like that was his whole thing. He's like, I just black out and I don't know what happens. So
low
it's
blood
like,
sugar, or I don't know. This is going to be a health conscious show, so low blood sugar. He probably should be on drugs for that. Something for high blood pressure because of the drug addiction. You know what I mean? That can mess your heart up. I know cocaine addicts who are still having heart attacks. And it's been years. So, something to that effect. Just the different atmospheric pressure of being in Malaysia versus New York. Maybe the flight. I don't know. I don't know. An inner ear infection.
Oh man, I think.
You know
My
what?
question is this,
Anything
though.
else?
Listen,
Any last
we
comments
sound
about the
like we
movie?
hated it. It was a good movie.
No, it was great.
So
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, now our next thing is like, well, what's next for them? Do we see more? Well, we do get at the post credit scene that there is a bit of a confrontation between Bucky and Sam
Mm-hmm.
for the name rights for the Avengers.
Right.
Yeah.
So their relationship is on the rocks when we go into Doomsday. And what
Mhm.
I think is going to happen is going to be like an Avengers versus the new Avengers kind of like battle to start things off.
I think the Thunderbolts are going to be the Dark Avengers.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for. I mean, calling them the new Avengers was new to me. I knew that was an option,
Yeah.
going into it, but I thought it was going to end up being like the Dark Avengers.
Yeah. And yeah, once this Fantastic Four thing plays out, one question I did have though, when Yelena or the new Black Widow says to Valentina and says, "We own you now," or whatever she says, I don't quite get how they
Because
do
now
because
they're
they know.
darlings. Yeah, now they're darlings, and they got to play the game. Yeah.
Yeah, they're letting her get off, and then they owe her. I mean, I guess
Well,
it's like Paul. It's like Paul Heyman in the WWE. He owes him now.
Yeah.
Now you got to. Now you got to
yeah.
do him. Now you got to do him a favor.
Mhm.
These guys are, they're misfit, heroes, because they all they do is they do side missions and dirty work for Valentina. So
Yeah.
they want to be and you get it from the beginning of the movie when she's on the top of the building, that they're trying to better their lives, or they want a better life. They want to be recognized in a different light. They don't want to be seen as just people that just hired, kill for hire, murder for hire people. So they have an opportunity now, and Valentina can give them that opportunity to be seen as in a positive light. But in the process, they can also flip the switch and be like, hey, we got all this dirt on you that you've been doing throughout for so many years, and here's what the Century Project was really about, and all the trials that killed people, and and how he how Bob ended up being the only one that could survive it, and you kept on to him because of his mental health, and it happened because of his mental health issues that he's able to kind of withhold this power or whatnot. So I think it's a hand in hand thing, and they kind of, you can tell they kind of feel weird about it, but they're just happy to have the fame and be in a positive light.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, why does everybody hate us? Why doesn't everybody think of us as the new Avengers and blah blah blah? You know what I mean? Why is Sam so upset? So
Yeah, they did a good job of making this Avengers team a family.
yeah,
Yeah.
Listen,
They
why
did it.
Sam was upset because his name is Captain America and he ain't the captain of nobody. That's why he
Yeah,
mad.
yeah,
That's why
yeah.
he mad. How you gonna have the Avengers no Captain America?
Yeah.
You see?
I see they might play around with like the
I'll
West
be
Coast
tight
Avengers
too.
idea. You know what I mean?
I'll be tight too. But
They
you
might
know
play around
what?
with that. That
They're
territorial
gonna
Avenger stuff.
now we're gonna get. But listen, at the end too, and you catch it. They say like this ship is coming from a different dimension, which answers all of our questions that the Fantastic Four are coming from a different dimension, which kind of answers our question on why we're getting kind of a old school kind of Fantastic Four. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, to get the history of them too, but also
Right.
this is coming from a different dimension. So, which do they win against Galactus? Do they not? Like, we'll
Yeah,
see.
someone said, they said to me, they're like, "Yo, it kind of ruins Fantastic Four because we know how it ends." And I was
No,
like,
well,
"Nah,
no,
you don't really know how it
because the
ends.
thing is,
That could
because the
happen
thing
in
is,
the beginning of the Fantastic Four. It could happen at
Yeah.
the end. It could
what
be a
I'm saying
post
is,
credit
yeah, because
Fantastic Four scene. We don't know."
Galactus could be a totally different thing. They beat Galactus or whoever the bad guy is in that one, and then at the end, their cutscene is how they get to the 616.
Yeah,
Let's see.
what I'm really curious now is not. I'm curious how they play Doctor Strange into this.
Mm.
Because the way his last movie ended, where he's we got these, like, how is he gonna play in?
I'm not sure.
I think he's already trying to fix these incursions that he caused, because I think it's a multiple amount of incursions that he's caused, and I think during this whole time, in between all these movies, he's out here trying to
Him
bring
and
it all.
Charlize are out there, in different dimensions doing whatever they're doing. America Chavez is out there. Like the only people that could go through dimensions is America Chavez and Doctor Strange right now, and I guess everybody in Spider-Man across the multiverse. Other than that, nobody
Well,
could really go through
Photon or
dimensions.
whatever, she ended up in a different dimension,
Kang,
didn't
Kang, all these people.
homegirl from the Marvels, she ended up in a different dimension at the end.
Yeah.
Where we saw the X-Men.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think she's pulling from that. She's gonna be pulling those X-Men to
You mean
into
Rambo?
Doomsday. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the people like in that X-Men dimension where Monica Rambeau is, like the Professor X of that, or whoever is the scientist there, is going to try to like mend the dimensions or do whatever. I think that Doctor Strange is going to be doing his thing in the main 616. And at some point, Doom is going to do something, and that's how we're going to get an actual Illuminati.
Yeah,
where they're kind of like, all right, we gotta sort this out across dimensions. So I don't know. They got a lot of things to do now. They did a good job of setting up. This is one of the first few times in recent years where I feel like they did a good job of setting up. Like, it makes me more hype for Fantastic Four. It makes me more hype for Doomsday. Not that I was not going to see it anyway, but now I'm a little more hype.
I think the Marvels did a good job. I think the Marvels post-credit scene doesn't get enough love as it should. I mean, we got OG, like we got Beast, like Kelsey Grammer Beast in that one. And I think that's I want to say that they're going to use that as the Fox Universe X-Men team.
I believe so too.
I think they're going to use that. And I think that's just the easier way to do it. Monica Rambeau's, she's on that side now, and that she's going to bridge that gap between those universes.
All right, so I think we talked enough about Thunderbolts so far and the possible implications for the MCU going forward. Let's move on to another big movie, Sinners. Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Yeah. I have not watched it, but you gentlemen, if you have watched it, are more than welcome to spoil it for me. And I will catch up to it eventually.
You gotta be Black or Irish to enjoy this movie.
Yeah, we're all out. We're one.
I got Puerto Rican roots, me. Yeah. No, he's in there, dog.
Yeah. I'm in there? All right.
I don't think Mississippi was a good spot for anybody Puerto Rican or darker to be at this time period. Yeah. But no, Sinners was I of course saw it. I got to go see it again because Ryan Coogler is going on this tour of like explaining how he shot it and how it's different on IMAX and whatnot. And I typically, no offense to people who like to go to the IMAX one, I think the IMAX is overrated. Sometimes I think the experience is overrated. To me, the sound matters more. The Dolby.
I like Dolby. More
I did Dolby.
IMAX.
Yeah, I dig the Dolby. I can't just do the regular. Well, I can do the regular digital, but the Dolby.
You don't do the 40. You never done the 4DX?
I did 4DX. 4DX is wild.
Listen, Dolby over here got the reclining chairs, so that's why
I want the reclining chair, dude. I want my chair to recline.
If IMAX did the reclining chair, would you go?
Yes.
Did I tell you my
4DX it's harder to sneak in cheeseburgers in those regular plush rockers than whatever they say.
Did I ever tell you guys my 4DX story?
Well, you fell out your chair?
No. So I went to go see The Rise of Skywalker in 4DX in Orlando. And I walked out of the movie like, oh my God, the movie's so great. Because I was so amazed by everything that 4DX did, right? And I was just like, whatever. But when I sat down again and I watched Rise of Skywalker again, I was like, oh my God, this movie's pretty terrible. Why did I like this? And I like it because of all the special effects.
You were immersed last time.
4DX suckered me, guys.
Yeah,
suckered me.
Felt like you were in one of the ships.
I felt like I was in Star Wars, baby. That was it. I was like, I don't care what happens here. This is lit.
You're in one of those Universal simulation rides. You were in the rock and roller coaster. You was on
Yeah,
Questor.
I can't believe how horrible that movie was when I actually sat back and I was like, oh my god, this movie's not good.
Yeah. I
Why
will
did I
say,
like
even
this?
in Thunderbolts, when I did the Dolby, I was like, yo, I can hear the sounds. I was like, this is dope. But so I got to go back and watch Sinners again. But I really like Sinners. If you're a horror fan, you may have a little impatience because it's not starting with horror. Like it's just setting up these characters, and honestly could have gone, could have gone a different direction. They could have just made that a drama about this. They could have made it a crime film. They could have made it a mob movie. They could have made it a film on racial tensions. They could have made it it could have been Idlewild with like Outcast. You know what I mean? Like it could have gone so many different directions. I think it's dope that he went with the horror direction with the vampires. And of course, when you're dealing with vampires, there's always like the suspending belief and so this all powerful being just can't come in my house unless I invite him. You know what I mean? Like, I think a Jehovah's Witness could break into my house.
Was that a thing?
But a vampire can't get in. So
was that a thing in the movie?
No, no, they do it. Like the vampires can't get in. They need
they have to ask for permission to come in.
Interesting.
Come into your house. Which is what Ryan Coogler did great. I'm not sure if he wrote it. I think he did. What he did great was those levels of like you have to invite someone in, and black people, y'all are Latino, have Latino heritage. We're like welcoming people. We're like, oh, just come to the party. Like everybody comes. It's kind of like a little bit of commentary on that. Like just who don't watch who you let in.
Right.
So it did a good job of that, and the vampires were cool, and the fact that they had these twins, Michael B. Jordan's performance, one of his best performances, and he's had some good ones. He was Killmonger.
Yeah,
and
he did a dual role, right? Like he did
a dual role. Yeah, and me personally, I honestly forgot that that's the same person.
Wow.
Like at the end of the film, I was like, oh yeah, that was just one person. Yeah, I forgot that he played those roles so distinct. I never really watched Haley Steinfeld. Haley Steinfeld. I never really watched her, in outside of like seeing her in the Marvel stuff. I haven't really watched her too much. She was good.
Remember?
She was in Transformers.
Bumblebee. Yeah. Kid actors don't matter to me when they're like 14, 15 or like playing that age.
Yeah, she was like 20.
Hey, Hawkeye, she was good.
She was supposed to be like 15, like in the movie.
She was good in Hawkeye.
Yeah. No, she was good in Hawkeye. Yeah, I'm just saying I don't watch her that often. I don't see a lot of films with her. So you guys named 3 projects. That's probably all I've ever seen. She was good. She was good. All the performances were good. I won't say it wasn't scary, but it's interesting.
There's a few jump scares in there.
A couple of jump scares, yeah, but it's interesting and it's good and it's gory enough and it's got enough humor. Good film, solid film.
Talk about a slow roast though in the beginning and how it started off. You don't even know it's a vampire movie till halfway through the movie. Like that beginning of that it sets everything up perfectly though. I love the late messages in it about what can be considered sinning. And in this movie, it's like it's a vampire movie, but it's also that much of a musical movie as well, and kind of a history within music and how it comes in and how like it was considered to be like sin and then how it saved this person. Not to spoil it for anybody, but you'll see the movie. It's really good. I think there's a lot of like subtle messages in there that a lot of people got to pay attention to. Yeah. But you can take it for what it is. Like the movie, great storytelling in it, little bit of history, but also great, amazing performances by a lot of actors in here. Haley Steinfeld, Michael B. Jordan, amazing job. I don't know what the vampire's name, the main vampire's name is, but he also did a good job too.
Good point.
Amazing acting in this movie, and honestly, like everybody needs to see this because I usually am not like when they like start overhyping these movies. I'm always one that's like, all right, I want to hate this. I really couldn't hate this movie. I really couldn't hate this movie. Michael B. Jordan did an amazing job. Like, if this movie ended the way it did and they didn't do any sequels with it, I think it would be a perfect ending. But I just feel like they're gonna the success from this movie. I hope they don't try to make a sequel just because, like, to try to get the bag. I think they should end it where it is.
I think so too.
Oh no, I think this is
By the
right.
way, Jose, there, Jose's chiming in saying he wish he could see it on IMAX 70 millimeter. They're re-releasing it.
It was good. I saw it on IMAX. It was very good.
Yeah, but the 70 millimeter is a bigger. I think it's a bigger aspect ratio, right?
Yeah. So they're going to re-release
right?
it May 15th to the 22nd.
But and it's select movie theaters like in big cities. I think they have the 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
Listen,
Tampa's a big city, right? Are we gonna
get
it?
Like, I'm talking about like New York, and LA and stuff like that. I think there's some special theaters.
listen, Speedy, I'm gonna tell you, man, and everybody else that hasn't watched Sinners yet, when you go watch it, just know it's a slow roast.
It's not a bad slow roast. Okay,
it's not bad, but it's
you're just very impatient
talked about the movie.
It takes like 45 minutes for it to start getting into the vampire.
It's great character building. You get invested in these stories, like the relationship between one of the brothers and Haley Steinfeld's character. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you feel invested. Like, oh damn, this dude is really getting it popping with this white girl. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, all this drama, and they're trying to keep it a secret because, you know what I'm saying? In those times, it was, obviously different. So there's just so much like great character building. Again, you do forget at times that you're watching horror, thriller movie, whatever. But like, bro, just the way it was written, Ryan Coogler's storytelling, again, those tropes, you know what I'm saying, from back then of how things were, and those little hidden messages within the movie about, a preacher's son playing music at juke joints and it being considered a sin. And like Richie said, it eventually ends up saving his life. So it's just so much a combination. Like, it's just like a well put together. Like, it's like you took a bunch of genres, because there's comedy in it too. There's comedy, there's drama, there's romance, there's horror. Like, everything is inside this movie. To me, it's what makes it like. I hate to say a movie. I hate to live in a moment right now, and this is something I'll watch again. But it's a perfect. This is a perfect movie, and if not, close to it. I think it has everything that you need. I think Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan are the Denzel and Spike Lee of our generation. I think that Ryan Coogler needs to be considered for the Blade movie. Like, these are all things that need to happen. Like you mean to tell me Marvel could not tell a vampire movie? Like, Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan did this thing and it was flawless. And I didn't need no backstory where the vampires came from and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And they use music as a way of summoning them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was, I didn't need a crazy backstory. Just give me a damn vampire movie. It make it good.
It was good. It was good.
Make it good. It had the action in it too. Like, there's nothing I disliked. I had nothing I disliked about this movie.
My only plot hole that I don't like is like, yo, they had these Native Americans come through chasing this man down, and then they were just like, oh man, it's getting dark, peace. And then we never saw them again.
But they also mentioned, I think they mentioned that the Indians were like aware of something, or they're aware of like,
because they know of everything, and that's the thing, man.
Sometimes you don't need to know everything.
We need to take that message too. Like, the people that we need to be listening to is the Native Americans, yo.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you see it out here in Tampa with the the burial grounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just some things that maybe we just don't understand, or we'll never get.
But that's exactly why I think there's gonna be a sequel, because it's
don't think it's gonna be a sequel, no,
bro.
Fine as is.
It's like these guys just dip, and then we never see them again in the rest of the movie. It's like, damn, that was it.
I think Michael B. Jordan just skyrocketed himself into like Denzel territory. He's not gonna do a sequel for this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. If they do a sequel, it won't be with
it's gonna dilute it. It's gonna dilute it. I don't even know if this movie fits the window for Oscars, but I can see it definitely being nominated for a few things.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
Michael B.
definitely
Jordan
for-
could get Michael B. Jordan could definitely be up for Best Actor award if this
yeah,
fits in the window.
Yeah, we got a situation where it's Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan both up for Best Actor.
That'd be crazy.
I think cinematography. The cinematography is definitely going to get. I should get nominated, or in the sound design, and maybe even director.
Dude,
It's
the
hard for horror
music
films.
scene, the
It's hard
juke
for
joint
horror films.
scene with the music and the twerking and everything,
Yeah,
like all that
all
together.
the
The
generations of
history
music.
of music of the future and the past, like all that together. That one scene, dude, made it for me.
Yeah,
That was one of the things I did not enjoy as much.
I thought it was good because
Oh,
it took you away from the movie and kind of let you live in what she was telling as far as like music, just summoning the spirits
Yeah.
of the past, present, and future. And you're as she's telling that story, you're seeing people from olden times, from like native times, all the way up to like twerking and DJing and things like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I thought it was a really cool like a visionary twist.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got it. I got exactly what he was trying to do, and then I think he got
Did.
it.
I do know
But
where you're coming from, though. It was kind
it
of
took
like,
me out of the.
it's just like,
It took me out of the, because I thought I was like, oh yeah, we're getting into like the we're about to get to the like Rich was saying, like they did all this character building, and we're about to get to like the monster part, and then there's this moment of like, well, let us explain first.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, well this is going pretty long. So that took me out a little bit. That's the only knock I would say I have on it.
I really thought that it was really cool. Like you talk about the slow roast. I enjoyed the slow roast because I mean, just to see how people like maneuvered in those times. These guys were working. The twins were working for Capone. I'm assuming it was Al Capone.
Yeah, I
in
think
that time.
Yeah,
right. I want to say
they
that
said they were in Chicago.
I think
they
they
were
were
in Chicago.
insinuating that they robbed Al Capone too.
Yeah,
yeah.
Which is pretty wild. So, working with them, being in Chicago, and just, stealing alcohol and flipping it and starting up a juke joint, just to see how like they maneuver, like that hustler mentality was back then. I thought that was really dope to kind of to see, just to kind of see how like, they everything, how things were transactional, and like people bidding on like stuff that's like worth a quarter or like 5 cents or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the relationships, like the dynamics between the two twins and how different they were, who their love interests were, how they felt about the cousin who was the musician, Delroy Lindo,
the Asian Americans, and how and what they did to contribute.
Like that's facts. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah,
the part Asian Americans played in America. It was dope. It was dope. Speedy, you got to go see it.
I'm gonna
definitely
check it out.
worth a watch.
Yeah.
But talk to your therapist before you see it, because there's going to be a lot of mental. There's going to be a lot of stuff in this one too.
We got to do some hugging. It's fine.
We're gonna have to do some hugging after we talk about the next thing.
No, what? So we got housekeeping, because Rich ran to me at work and said we didn't talk enough about the season finale of Daredevil Born Again.
Well, we also got to talk.
I feel like he just wasn't here.
I don't think you were there. Yeah.
I probably wasn't. I was talking about The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I haven't caught up on Last of Us. I'm very disappointed in myself, though.
Oh, dude,
I don't know
you're
how
missing
far
out.
Why don't you enlighten everybody who's
You're missing out.
Yeah.
Listen, for anybody that's played the video game The Last of Us 2, there was a moment that we've been talking about ever since season 1. It was the moment. And we were all kind of like watching and waiting for and it came. Episode 2 in the series. Episode 2. And I mean, do you guys want me to say it?
I've seen it.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah,
I've seen it.
I haven't even started.
I'm sorry, Joey.
So.
Like, you guys are like 2 weeks behind now. So
it's Joey's decision. Joey's the one who's invested.
Dude, you guys are 2 weeks behind now. Like, we're on episode like 4 now.
I'm a whole season or 2 behind.
Oh my god!
Joey does not want you to tell it, dog.
I mean, you good? I'm about to just mute. I'm about to turn my headphones off, and you can go ahead.
All right, you're gonna have to just hold it, Rich.
Go ahead and mute it, dog.
Give me the thumbs up when you're done talking about it.
The moment they kill, there's one moment in time. I remember the only show that I can remember is Game of Thrones when they knock off my man's Ned Stark.
Right. The
and
red
they
wedding.
chop off his head. Like we never really see that in a lot of shows where the main character gets taken out, pretty
Glenn
early.
and Walking
That
Dead
was at the
watched
end
a
of the
long
first
time.
season.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it took a while though, and ended up, somebody ended up Rick Cutting came back, whatever. But my point is, they kill off Joel and ripped out the hearts of everybody that was watching this because we thought we were going to see a whole nother season of Joel because, we were getting into how deep, he was going to therapy. He was doing all this stuff. His relationship with her is kind of severed because she kind of knows that something happened and he's keeping a secret. And he won't tell anybody the secret. And he ends up dying with the secret.
Wow.
And the only person that knows I'm sorry. And she doesn't even know, which is the wild thing. So now
L was her name.
this
Yeah.
season
Ellie or Ellie.
Ellie.
Yeah.
Ellie. Yeah. So Ellie now it kind of knows, doesn't know, but I think what's gonna happen is her pursuit of going to Abby, which is the person that kills Joel. Her and Dina go, and I mean, I'm not gonna tell you everything that happens, but that's like the most important thing.
All right.
So
and everybody kind of, and it kind of like turned a lot of people away from the show because it's like we grew to love Joel, and then all of a sudden, second episode, y'all off him quick. But
he had to go
it's the
shoot
biggest plot
Fantastic Four,
point.
dog.
Yeah.
I think we could bring Joey back, right? We could bring Joey
No.
back? No?
No, because there's still plot.
Oh,
There's still
jeez.
things that I'm gonna ruin. But no, the thing is like now, no more Pedro Pascal in this. A lot of people were falling in love with him, and he's in absolutely everything right now. So it's like a lot of people were turned off from the show, but now the show is trying to avenge Joel, and the story of Ellie and Dina going to do this now. So it's like they still have my interest because now I want to see the revenge story.
Yeah.
And the show is written so amazing. And there was another moment in the video games too where she's playing the guitar, and that was a good homage to the video game as well because a lot of people love that song. Different acoustic rendition of Take On Me, and they put it into the show. I thought it was amazing. I guarantee you the sales of that song have gone up exponentially. I'm telling you, like the game is paying homage to, I mean, the show is paying homage to the video game. It's doing good, but now we're getting into the real nitty gritty of the show. The wolves, now it's like different plot points within the plot points because we got to remember, like, this is a whole world outside of what's going on in not just Seattle,
Everywhere.
but listen, they were in their own place in what Colorado or wherever, Utah, wherever they were at, they're in their spot, but you still got to remember all the dangers out over there. Now they have the wolves. They have a whole other like religious cult that they have to worry about now. And then also in the end of this episode, the zombies, which we're all forgetting about. Like
they're doing what what The Walking Dead took 12 seasons and 6 spin-offs to do. They're doing in the first 2 seasons. And I'm not familiar with the game. I didn't know Joel was going to die. So I was like, what? I was like, yo, wait a minute. And I thought, like, this is going to go south after he dies. Like, he's a main character and he's a main actor. But I'm still intrigued. I'm still very much intrigued. And I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't played any of these video games. So I think it's safe for Joey to come back now. Can we?
Yeah.
Joey's not listening.
Joey's not looking.
Joey's like,
somebody send Joey a message.
Joey's logging into let me just log into Max real quick and watch it while they do it. Yeah, but it's a it's a really really good show, especially for something I'm not familiar with. And I wasn't familiar with Walking Dead, and I caught up a lot on Game of Thrones as I was watching it. But this one I didn't do like a lot of research, and I know people who are fans of the game who were like, "Yo, they're staying pretty accurate," and you know, it's been tough for video games. Like I think Borderlands is just, I don't know where you can even watch that right now. Is it on Stars or something? Like the video game thing has been tough. Nobody really watched Twisted Metal. I watched Twisted Metal and I liked it. Fallout did good. Fallout was good. Fallout was solid. But as far as like video game adaptations, not being familiar with the game, Last of Us is just a great show. It's just a great show, and I don't want them to do like 10 seasons of this either.
What about Fallout? Fallout was pretty good.
Fallout was good. But Last of Us is different. Last of Us is like Emmy Award winning.
Like they stay true to the video game. They have little changes, but it's true to it to the point where like the fans that have been along for the ride when it was a video game, they get their payoffs.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, kudos, yo. HBO don't miss sometimes, man. Like they
don't.
Like I'm already hyped about House of the Dragon, and HBO don't miss. Last of Us is dope. And as a person who doesn't play the video game, doesn't know about it, you definitely don't have to watch or play the video game.
Nah, you should. Honestly, I wish I was watching this for the first time because it's written so well.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. And Pedro Pascal, speaking of him, his person who gets all his leftover roles from Andor. Diego, I think his name is Diego.
We're talking about The Last of Us right now. Oh, but we about to talk some Star Wars. I know that's what you're here for.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Andor.
Yeah.
The infamous season 2, Tarek.
This is turning out pretty good.
It's good. It's interesting, but I feel like I'm watching a history channel docudrama about living in the Galactic Empire.
Oh no, I'm definitely watching the eulogy of characters that died in Rogue One. Yeah, no, I'm watching their life.
I wish it was a little more interesting. Like I'm still trying to figure out why I need to care about these Empire guys that were in a relationship and now they're not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's interesting to see like the little inner workings of like how the Empire was and how the rebellion starts and like the idea of the Death Star, especially with the times we have now, it works because people are like really engaged with this stuff. Star Wars still be reaching though. Star Wars, they be like, we're gonna stretch.
The show's reaching. The show's stretching like it was Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, they Elastigirl, Plastic Man, Mr. Fantastic reaching sometimes, trying to keep you interested.
Yeah.
At some point I'm gonna need a lightsaber or something going on, dog.
The fandom was a little divided on the RAPE part of the show. Didn't quite
Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah, yo, I just watched that episode today, and I was like, yo, wait a minute, this is not
George Lucas.
This is not what we asked for. Like, yo, what? Hold on, who's watching this?
Did you feel violated, Tarek?
Bruh, I felt bad. I didn't feel. Yo, I was like, yo, wait a minute. You can't watch this with your kids.
No, this is not a kids Star Wars thing. This is
I was like, wait a minute.
That's another contentious thing with a lot of fans right now. There's a lot of people who are like, yo, this is not. George Lucas might have alluded to. He might have done it a different way. He might have been like, alluded to some kind of violation happening. And cut the scene. And do some kind of directorial, magic and make you feel like that might have happened, but not infer it was gonna happen.
Yeah, Andor got real. Andor, like, we're gonna start to get to the point where like rappers are getting shot. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a Wyeth and Lucci case in Andor.
I think Mom Mouthful was also drunk and high, dancing
she
around.
Was drunk,
yeah. And she did something else too.
She said my mom was drunk. My mom was drunk when I got married.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, wait a minute.
And she was turning up in the wedding.
How do they get drunk? I've never seen anybody drunk in Star Wars.
House music is a thing in the Galactic Empire, so that's good.
They straight listening to what was the homeboy? The hot DJ had the mouse. He had the mouse head all the time.
There's no DJs. The DJ's a droid, so there's no jobs for us in Star Wars, Joey.
Yeah. Although they were getting it in at Jabba's palace back in Return of the Jedi, there was definitely some liquor being poured.
Yeah, there was.
Jabba's palace back
in
the day.
I feel like I don't want to watch it, Tarek, but it is good. It has some good aspects to it. You know what I mean?
It's not something that I like every Tuesday or whenever it comes on. Was it Tuesday? Yeah.
And watch 3 episodes back to back.
Yeah, it's not like let me go watch it.
I'm still stuck on number 4.
Yeah, I'm 2 episodes behind. So, it's not pulling me to like watch it every week. But when I watch it, it's good. But you gotta really. It's almost not a Star Wars thing. It's a thing.
It's like I said,
it's like a Succession. It's a Succession in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm learning about the massacre of Troy, in the History Channel, but
yeah.
They're actually coming out with the actors and doing the parts and stuff. I don't know, but it's Star Wars.
Yeah. Diego Luna is a Costco Pedro Pascal. He's good. He's good. Listen, he's good. But it's like we want a Pedro Pascal type. Diego Luna was like, I'll do it.
Cut the check.
Hey, I'm like, is he busy? I know he's busy. I do it.
I don't know. I feel like, why do we even have this show? That's what I realized. Like, we really don't even need it. You don't need it.
For real, because we already know Andor is dead. We know how it ends.
Is it going to advance other than this is how?
And I don't want to say that because it's
rebellion came about. This is how bad the Empire was to everybody, and this is how the Empire, the rebellion, was formed.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, it's like we're done with prequels. We want to see like what's going on in the future. Like,
I don't think they expected Rogue One to be as good as it was.
Well,
I think they thought that Rogue One would be what Solo ended up being. Like, I think like Solo was probably in the minds of the executive.
Yeah, it was supposed to be big. Yeah. Han Solo, you can't go wrong.
Donald Glover, we Lando Calrissian. Like, it's going to be big, and it was kind of like a forgettable, not terrible, but a forgettable type movie.
Right.
And Rogue One was like, yo, this is amazing, and here we are with Andor, and then Andor.
This is amazing. Let's kill off all of our main characters.
Hey, but at least they tied up that plot point. There's no hole there.
But it's like, damn, it's like, all right, so they die. So now this is the story leading up to it. We get it, but it's like we know how it ends. It's like you're gonna keep on making seasons of Andor to a character that's already
this
dead.
has to be the last season.
Apparently,
they better not.
I mean, it's kind of like Black Widow. They did Black Widow like that.
They did.
They did Black Widow dirty. Like,
apparently, if after Andor, allegedly, your experience of watching Rogue One will be completely different.
I could see that. I see that based off the last episode I saw. I definitely see that. But I like Rogue One anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are you gonna re-release it in the theater? I guess they re-released Resident Evil.
What do we need to reboot in the plot so we need to understand in the past? You know what I mean?
I don't need to understand all that, dog. I'm good.
That's what I'm saying. Why are we watching this, Tarek? Why, other than the sake of the show?
Because it's good. It's good. It just doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It just doesn't mean anything. Sometimes you put celery. Sometimes you put celery in dishes, and you're not. The celery doesn't do nothing. You feel guilty because you don't have a vegetable. You're like, let me just throw something in there.
But you're like, nah, this is disgusting. I don't want to finish it.
Yeah, I don't need that with the wings. I don't really want the celery and the carrots. I just want the wings. They already gave us the wings.
And then
I use it to spread my ranch.
Like, what a waste of celery.
Rich is using it as a brush.
I use the celery to spread my ranch,
Yeah. So what I want is a Yoda movie.
Well,
not Baby Yoda.
Apparently, is going to be lit. But,
Yeah, if we're doing prequels, let's do it to the characters that actually meant something. Yoda, I'm
You
cool
want a
with
Yoda,
Yoda. Han
a
Solo was
Mace
good.
Windu.
What happened
Mm.
to what happened to Mace Windu with Childish Gambino? Like that was supposed to be a project at
I
one
still,
point. Like
I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm with you. Like, yo, they're just bleeding this dude. I haven't
Yeah,
seen Tales
I
of the
don't know.
Dark Side, but I'm like, yo, they bleeding.
That's the Tales of the is it Dark Side or is it Tales of the I think it's the gangsters or the scoundrels. I think it's Tales of the Scoundrels or something like that. I don't remember which
Yeah,
one it is.
they're bleeding that little 10-year period, dog. This is what people are gonna end up doing to Drake. They're gonna be like, yeah, you were hot for that little 10 years, but now it's like it's not fair. Let that man move forward. You know what I mean? So
Oh man, I don't know. I have a feeling I'm gonna try and finish it anyway. Let's wrap it up. If I'm forgetting anything, because people got to wake up in the morning.
I think we touched on everything. I think
Yeah.
there's a new Fantastic Four trailer probably on the horizon, and also there's a new Superman trailer coming real soon. It should be in the next week.
Yeah. And there's apparently it looks like 2 Terminator projects, one like a video game, one I don't know what's going. Not Terminator, I'm sorry, Predator.
Predator, yeah, the Predator.
Yeah, they're bleeding Predator too.
Well, it is Marvel. I mean, it's Disney.
oh yeah,
Disney-esque.
yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's sign off for today.
I got a video game news. GTA 6. We all thought it was coming out this year. It's coming out May of 2026. So we gotta wait one more year for it. But they did drop a new trailer
Fire.
today of what it looks like, and it looks like it's
Is
gonna
it
be
based on
dope.
Florida
So
still, like the design?
Yeah, we didn't get Tampa or Orlando
yeah.
yet, but
Okay.
we got Miami vibes heavy.
Okay.
But that's gonna be a awesome not only year but month because Doomsday comes out that same month.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
GTA.
All
and
right, ladies and
Doomsday.
gentlemen, let's wrap it up. For anyone listening to the audio version of this podcast, you could be part of the live show. We always do it live on the Speedy Multiverse YouTube channel. Go give me a subscribe over there. And if you're watching this and you haven't given me subscribe, shame on you. Subscribe right now, okay?
Oh, shaming the
yeah. We're shaming everybody now.
Shame. Shame.
If you just want to consume the audio version of the podcast, by all means, go look for Geek Culture Congress podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. Joey Franchise, let them know how they can follow you, sir.
At Joey Franchise and at Franchise on Film.
Mr. Tarek Lewis.
At the Tarek Lewis on Instagram and also on YouTube.
Mr. Richie Ortiz.
Richie_Ortiz. You can see it right here if you're watching on the videos. If not, hey, find me on X, Instagram, Emi Gente.
You can add me at DJ Speedy JR, all the socials, and of course follow the show, Geek Culture Congress Podcast on Instagram. And we will see you next week. What we'll be talking about, I don't know. We'll be talking about something. And
Andor and Handmaid's Tale, because none of y'all clowns are watching Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale?
And the Last of Us.
There you go, Last of Us. I'm gonna try and catch up, okay? I promise.
You need to catch up.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Be safe. Peace.